What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Talking Timepieces with Tony. I'm Tony. Today is Friday, which is the Q&A, and we made another week, so that's awesome. Hope everyone had a good week. And for those of you who don't know, every Friday we have a Q&A. And if you'd like to participate, all you got to do is leave your question in the comments below, and it'll be featured on an upcoming Q&A. So that's pretty simple. I enjoy doing it. You enjoy watching, so it's a lot of fun. Today, I am wearing my Mont Blanc Heritage Salmon Dial 40 millimeter alligator strap. I never wear this watch. What prompted me? I don't know. But that's what we're doing today. So anyway, let's roll the intro and we'll get into the Q&A. Talking Timepieces with Tony, now rolling.
You're talking timepieces with Tony. You're talking timepieces with Tony.
Alrighty, so let's get into it. The first question comes from 458V8. Hi, Tony. We really enjoy your videos. Thanks. Hi to Paco and Uku. Uku's right there, and I don't know where Paco is. The question is, if I bought a Rolex GMT Batman, can I change the bracelet to a Jubilee and make it a Batgirl? Thank you, Tony. You can, only if it's the 126 newer reference, because they both came on either a Jubilee or an Oyster bracelet, whereas the previous iteration, the 116, only came on the Oyster. So changing it, I think there's a little bit of a difference. So you would have a problem with the end links, I think. So you would have to finagle that somehow. It can be done, but it's not an easy switch. But you can do it on the 126. Simple. So thanks for your question, man. I appreciate it. This one comes from Loves All Bikes 279. Hi, Tony. You responded to a question I had a few weeks ago about which direction to go from maybe a $2,000 to $5,000 watch. I was in all different directions, and you mentioned the Oris, which I do like the Oris Aquas. But do you think about the Omega? What do you think about the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean 2201.50? Thanks, and I look forward to your videos. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I had a good Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. What do I think about the Planet Ocean? Dude, I am just not an Omega fanboy. You know what I mean? I like the S&P 300, the one that I had, and I love the new ones that came out. The one with the titanium bezel. They also have a new one, which is, I think it's called bronze gold, which is really cool. I like that one. But as far as the Planet Ocean, man, it's not a watch I would buy or wear, but if you like it, then cool. And you can pick those up probably for a couple of grand, $2,000 to $3,000 on the secondary market. So best of luck, man. Sorry, I can't give you more into it. I'm just not a huge Omega fan. Thanks for your question, though. Next one comes from Al Bundy 3929. What's up, Al Bundy? Still married to Peg? If Omega releases a skin diver a la the 60s, 70s Geneve Admiralty 135.042, I'll be the first in line. Are you familiar with this one? Kinda. Dan Henry sells an homage that I'm tempted to buy, but I can't get past the brand name on the dial, and I'm holding out for Omega to reissue. Yeah, man. All right. So first and foremost, yeah, it's a nice looking watch. And you have to go back to that vintage. You know, waiting and holding out for something to get reissued or redone, you might be waiting the whole rest of your life, dude. You know, you can't live like that. You know what I mean? As far as the Dan Henry, you know, I'm not too familiar with Dan Henry, but at the same time, that's not going to scratch the itch, bro. You know, you're going to be sitting there looking at it going, I really want the Omega. You know what I mean? It's like you're almost trying to settle. You know, you're better off just going for the vintage, getting it serviced, and taking care of it that way. Because even you just said you can't get past the brand name. Well, if you can't get past the brand name, you're never gonna get past the brand name, dude. So I would recommend you go out and just suck it up and get yourself a vintage one. You know, unless you want to wait and see what happens. But thanks for your question, dude. This one comes from Web3201. If you woke up in a post-apocalyptic zombie situation, what watch would you wear that could hold up to the new reality equals beater? Well, I live in LA, dude, so I think we're kind of almost there, you know? So, if something like that happened, and if you're talking about a watch I have in my collection, I'd almost want to say the Submariner. But if not, I'd go for my GMT Batgirl. It's just rugged, robust. It's a newer watch, more reliable. But if I just had to pick one and say, hey, man, I'm going to be in a zombie apocalypse or whatever it is, I'd probably get a Victorinox Inox. Those watches are absolutely almost indestructible. You know what I mean? They're great watches. 200-meter water resistance. You can run them over with a tank, and I believe they did it one time to show that watch is almost indestructible. The Victorinox Inox gets no love, but they look good, and they're extremely robust, and like I say, almost indestructible. The sapphire glass is extremely thick, so you're not gonna have any problems with it. So that's probably the watch I would pick. I actually had one several years ago, and I gave it away. I give a lot of watches away, so but yeah, that's probably what I would take, I guess. So thanks for your question, man. What are you guys wearing? What do you guys tell me? Tell me what watches you're wearing. I always fail to ask you guys questions. Although I'm gonna be doing another episode where I'm gonna be asking you guys some questions. So this one comes from let's see, Filming with Friends 560. Q&A. Hey Tony, love your laid back approach in these videos. Thanks, man. Just the way it is, I guess. I appreciate it. Question: as a Zenith fan, what are your thoughts on the Chronomaster Sport? Love it? Too similar to the Daytona? Thinking about picking one up, possibly the Yoshida editions solely for the Japanese market. Sorry, I have my front door open if you can hear that. One of my neighbors came out and she's talking. Okay, so what are my thoughts on the Chronomaster Sport? I love that watch, man. I love it. I've almost bought it several times. Is it too similar to the Daytona? No, it's better than the Daytona. It's actually legible. Everyone knows that Rolex used the Daytona or the El Primero movement in the Daytona. Fair enough. But that being said, the problem with the Daytona, and I have the 126500 LN, and it's not legible at all. I can't wear the watch. It sucks because it's such a nice looking watch, and we wait for that grail, but I can't read it. I look at it and I can't tell what time it is. With the Chronomaster Sport, I can read it not only with my reading glasses on, because I can read my Daytona with reading glasses on, but I can't with my regular vision glasses, my distance glasses. So if I'm driving or whatever and I try to look at my watch, I can't tell you what time it is. But with the Chronomaster Sport, I can tell the time with either no glasses, reading glasses, or my distance glasses. I think overall it's a better watch. I don't think the bracelet is better than the Daytona bracelet, but I think overall the watch is better. So if you're gonna get one, dude, pick it up. And the Yoshida one's real nice. I've tried that on too. Beautiful dial, man. So thanks for your question. Next question, Junior Johnson 5961. What's your opinion on Hamilton watches? I get this question more often than just about any other question, and so either you're a new viewer, which is fine, or you just don't watch my other videos where I've probably answered this question 300-400 times. But I love Hamilton. They were an American company based in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. They started in 1892. Back in the old days, the olden times, they made pocket watches that the rail masters used, people at the railway, to sync up with the timing of the trains arriving and departing, and diverted plenty of accidents that could have happened. World War I, World War II, they were the official watch for the U.S. Armed Forces, and it just goes on from there. Not even keeping into account the amount of TV and movies these watches have been in, Interstellar, and you can name Blue Hawaii with Elvis Presley, and to this day, they just make amazing. The khaki field is you just, I mean, you can't beat it, especially for the price point, man. You know, I want to get the Murph. I've been wanting to get the Murph. That was the Interstellar watch at 38 millimeter, but I haven't. So at the same time, yes, Hamilton are awesome, and thank you for your question, man. I appreciate it. Next question, NSG74. Hi Tony, great channel, and always look forward to your next vid Q&As. Thank you, appreciate it. Do you still have your Zenith Defy chronograph skeleton dial, and what is your opinion on the new Defy Skyline chronograph line with the cream, blue, and black dials? I just tried on the cream and blue dials and loved them and prefer them over the new Omega, first Omega in space, Speedmaster, which I tried on at the same time. Keep doing what you're doing. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, I think Zenith, for all the Omega fans, man, Zenith's a better watch. I just, whatever. Nothing taking away from the Speedmaster, okay? I give props and respect to the Speedmaster, all right? So mine was not a Defy chronograph. Mine was a three-hand skeleton. I don't have it anymore, and the reason being is because it was just a little too flashy for me, and I stopped wearing it. It was a little bit too kind of blingy, just the way that it looked, and especially when I went out in the light. And I'm really low profile, man. I don't like my watch to stand out in someone's face, and so I found myself always having to put sleeves on, even if it was warm out, to cover it when I was wearing it. So just to not get that look. It's a great watch, though. Don't get me wrong. It did have the El Primero movement in it, not the Elite movement. As far as the cream and the blue one, I think they're awesome. It's like, you can't go wrong with them. I think they just make such a phenomenal watch. I'm going to be doing a video on the history of Zenith as well, a little bit different than previous videos I've done about Zenith. So, if you like it, dude, pick it up, man, for sure. I do like them as well, and I have tried them on. They are awesome. So, and if someone's going to say, hey, you're talking about not wearing blinging watches, yet you have the Batgirl, it's another one I don't wear out too much because of the same reason. You know what I mean? With the Jubilee bracelet, grabbing attention and stuff. Either way, thanks for your question, man. I appreciate it. The Florist Savant. I really enjoy your content. What's going to happen when your channel blows up and there are thousands of questions for your Q&As? Thanks. If my channel blows up, I don't know. I mean, my channel's doing okay. I have over 5,000 subscribers, I guess, but I don't have that like 10,000. Some of these people that a lot of people that buy their subscribers too, or whatever they do, how they do that, I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, if it were to happen, I mean, I take shit day by day, man. If things happen, they happen. And if they don't, I'd figure it out, I'd figure it out, and I would just probably, really weed through a lot of the questions, and some of the questions that I may not, I don't know. I'm not there. So, but I appreciate it, man. Next one comes from Aodell1609. Any suggestions on the Vacheron 1921 American watch? I don't see a lot of recent videos on it. I think it is Vacheron Constantin signature watch, just like the Royal Oak for AP and Nautilus for Patek. Your thought? I don't necessarily know if that would be the case of it being like the Royal Oak for VC or the Nautilus or whatever, but it is definitely a popular watch, isn't it? It's very much a specialized watch too. Like, I wouldn't buy it. You know what I mean? I don't like that off center, it's meant for a driver, and plus I wear my watches on my right hand, not my left hand. And it would be more of a watch it's a left-handed, you'd have to, for right-handed people that wear their watch on their left hand, they may make a variation. I think they probably do actually, but at the same time, I don't like it all that much. I love Vacheron Constantin, one of my favorite brands, but, it's a nice watch. If you dig it, I would definitely pick it up. I have another question regarding this watch, I know. So, but yeah, I mean, can't go wrong with Vacheron, dude. Love them. You know what I mean? My favorite Vacheron is I love the 222. I do love the Patrimony and the Traditional line, which is the 1921 is the Traditional line, but more of the dressier watches. I love some of their skeleton watches too. I like a lot of their watches, man. But thanks for your question, dude. Was there another one down here? Okay. This next one comes from Mick Fryer 6121. What's up, dude, in Australia? Hi, Tony. Hope you are having a great day. Not bad, man. Hope you are too. Do you have any tips on watch talk etiquette in the wild? I was having a good conversation with a guy at the big casino here in Sydney. He was watching me perform, and I sat with him in my break after he and his wife engaged in conversation with me. They both had gold date justs. After a while, I told him, "Hey, I love your date just," which he then hid it underneath his sleeve. I was wearing my Breitling Super Ocean Heritage, which I showed him, and I said that I love watches. I then asked him if he had heard of Breitling. He simply said no. No? I think someone might be fibbing to you, man. But he simply said no. Our whole conversation came off the rails, and I changed topic. Last thing I want to do is make people feel awkward. Do you think I just had a rare, awkward experience, or maybe I should always consider boundaries in the wild and only save the watch chat for ADs and the appropriate online platforms? Thank you, as always. That's a tough one, dude. I don't talk to anyone. If I notice someone's watches, I don't even mention it. I don't, it's because it's happened to me too. I think the most recent one was, I don't know, it was maybe a year or so ago. A guy was wearing a Moonswatch at Warner Brothers. I'm like, Moonswatch, dude, right on. He was just like, he didn't really want to have anything to do with me. You know what I mean? He wasn't an asshole, but he was just whatever. And some people are like that. They don't want to talk about it. It's real personal. Maybe he felt that he's better than you, and I don't know what a Breitling is. I have a Rolex, and nothing else matters. And you're just a performer. You know what I mean? Some people look down on people. I'm not saying that that's what he's doing. I wasn't there, so I don't know. He might. I don't know how old this guy was either. You know what I mean? Some people aren't comfortable. He might not even be a watch guy, but he's got a Rolex. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, you can tell somebody is a watch person by what type of watch they wear, and just because they wear a Rolex doesn't mean they're a watch person. You know what I mean? You see someone, I might do a whole video on this. So, but yeah, I keep myself to myself, man. When I'm like, if I'm in the grocery store shopping or whatever, and someone comes up to me, and which doesn't happen, but it's happened. What's a nice watch? And I just say thank you, and then I just focus on my shit. If I'm at, if I get like recognized for my channel or something when I'm out, which happens, then I'm like, yeah, I'll engage that way, because I know you're a watch enthusiast when you come up to me. But if it's just, I don't know, it's a very awkward situation. Sometimes it's just better to keep your mouth shut, not even talk about it. You know what I mean? Whatever. Let them start with you, and if you want to talk about it, cool. All right, man. Thanks for your question. Next one comes from GD9986. Hey, Tony, I really love the VC 1921. I have a really hard time spending that level of money knowing that it will drop so much in value. I don't think I'd ever sell it, but it just feels wrong. How would you deal with this? How would I deal with that? What kind of car do you drive, man? I'm sure, if you got VC money for like a 1921, I mean, you might not drive a super bitching car, because I don't. I have used to. I've done in the past. But what do you think happens when you buy a car off the lot and drive it off the lot? How much money do you lose in automobiles? It's just the same concept, man. Back in the day, I did a video on this. You didn't go to the AD and buy a watch thinking about secondary value or losing money on it. Common knowledge was that no matter what watch you bought, the minute you wore it out, you're going to lose money on it. And that's just the way it was. It was not a thought process. It's like jewelry. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't buy a piece of jewelry and think, well, this is worth this much money. Well, if it's solid gold or whatever, it's always going to be worth its weight in gold, right? But when it comes to a watch, you're either going to suck it up and buy it and deal with it, not giving a shit anything about the secondary value, because you love it. And I wear plenty. Shit, half my watches aren't worth as much, anywhere near like what I paid for them. But you got to do it because you love it. But if you don't feel comfortable buying a watch or spending that kind of money, then don't buy the watch, dude. Because there's nothing worse than buying something and then having buyer's remorse. Then you're going to hate the watch and wish you never bought it. Then when you go to sell it, you wouldn't take too much of a hit, but you'll take a hit. I hope that helps, man. Thanks for your question. This comes from Steel Slags. Steel Slags. Q&A. Tony, 2 questions, if I may. I'd love your thoughts on Eddie Vedder and Tom York as a vocalist, or as vocalists. I love them both. I'll just answer that real quick. Eddie Vedder's cool. You know, I was never a real fan of his, but when I mean, I can listen to old Pearl Jam now as opposed to when they first came out. Because when they first came out, I hated them. But I can appreciate what he does. Plus, Eddie Vedder bought one of my records, so I gotta say, yeah, Eddie Vedder's awesome, you know. And I know that because I just know that. So, but yeah, he's all right, you know. I mean, he does his thing, you know. Tom York, I don't know who that is, and I probably do. I just don't know the name, so I apologize for that. Let's see. Now back to watches. 124060 versus the 14060. You've owned both. Yes, I have. I own the former, which I luckily got at retail, which is around what you'd pay for a 5-digit sub. In my opinion, the 5-digit is cooler, but the 6-digit is a better watch. What do you think? All right. So yeah, I'm right. So when you get into the 124060, you got a ceramic bezel, which it's not going to scratch. It's not going to age. You know, you've got a better bracelet and you have that upgraded movement, but you have a maxi case on that. Is that necessarily better than the case on the 14060? No, I prefer the case on this. The movement is a 3130 movement, which is a very robust, very well-known movement in the Rolex. I prefer the 40 millimeter 14060 to the 41 millimeter. I think it's more comfortable for me. So, I mean, but then again, all of it comes down to a matter of opinion. One's newer and one's older, you know, but they're both great watches. Thanks for your question, dude. Questions. Thanks, dude. Last question from Behemoth66. Does anyone know the difference between the Santos large blue dial WSSA 0071 and the WSSA 0030? Any of you guys know? Because to me, they're the same watch. It might be that one was supposed to be a gray dial, but it's blue. The other one came up as like one's for the British market, one for the USA market, but I don't buy that one either. So I don't know. If you guys know, by all means, let me know or just comment below. I appreciate it as always. You guys take care.